Yeah, man, that Jesse Williams speech was filled with a bunch of shit you want to hear. And who is this black woman they showed during the awards? If you know who this lady is, please tell me, because she is a fucking goddess. This lady is gorgeous as shit. She is fine. I don't know who this black woman is, but please let me know. I'm gonna get to Jesse and stuff. I'm gonna get to it, but this black woman is fine as hell. God, I wish I knew who she was. Please let me know. But anyway, let's get, and if you know who she is, message me on Instagram. That's how I communicate now. I'm on Instagram. Someone sent this to me. Dave Mills with two S's. DAVEMILLSS. And he said, I really want to hear your thoughts on Jesse Williams' speech at the BET Awards. You usually take neutral approach to things and don't get caught up in the hype. Hope you make a video about it. And I'm replying right now. I'm going to say, doing it now. All right. So, what do I think about the speech? If you haven't heard the speech, you go watch it. Links in the description. But my opinion on the speech is, look, it's honestly, some of it is pretty accurate. Some of it, but the majority of it is not. He's just saying a bunch of stuff you want to hear. That's what he's saying. He's saying a bunch of stuff you want to hear. He's not even, look, it doesn't matter what race you are when you say things. It doesn't matter to me. You'll be of any race possible. But to me, when you're a biracial person, and you're kind of not like trying to find middle ground, you're just talking up for one side, even if that one side is down, and you know that one side has some facts in it or has some situations in it in which they're down because of themselves, some of it, and you don't mention that, you kind of only attack the other side, you just kind of look shifty to me. But put that aside. This is why I don't agree with him. There's two major reasons why things are the way they are, or why things look like they are the way they are. Him talking about blacks being killed all the time, things aren't better. First of all, if you don't think things are better than 100 years ago, you're out of your fucking mind. You're out of your mind. You're out of your fucking mind beyond belief. You are literally out of your fucking mind. You're crazy if you agree with anything like it's not better than 1600s. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard. That's how I knew he was just trying to say shit people wanted to hear. You understand? Let me tell you the two reasons why things are the way they are or why they seem to be that way. Police aren't held accountable for a lot of things. And two, the media. Police are not held accountable for certain things. Two, the media. Now, when it comes to black people being killed by police, it's not about race. It's not about race. How do I know it's not about race? Because the stories of when the white people get killed the same way, they don't blow up in the news. They don't blow up in the news. They do not. They do not blow up in the news. If they're going to show you anything in the news that they know is going to blow up, it's going to be when the white man is not killed. That's how the media works. They show you what you want to see. They show what's going to be sexy. They show what's going to be viewed a lot. They show what's going to get the money. So let me test you. Which story sounds sexier, so to say? An unarmed black child is killed for holding a toy gun. An unarmed white child is killed by black officers for holding a toy gun. Which story would blow up? Obviously, the unarmed black child killed by the officers. I didn't even say white officers. I just said officers. The unarmed white child killed by the black officers isn't going to blow up, not only because it isn't sexy, but also because of fear of looking racist. A lot of companies and stuff don't want to look racist. They don't want to look racist. This is happening all over the world, especially in Europe. A lot of crimes get unsolved and shit, at least is what a lot of people say, I'm not sure. But a lot of crimes don't get solved and stuff like Muslim roaming gangs, apparently, and all that kind of stuff, because a lot of these police agencies and whatnot are afraid of looking racist. They don't want to say what it actually is because they're afraid of looking racist. We have that same shit over here. A lot of people are afraid of looking racist. They're not going to talk about it. It's not going to blow up. It's not that sexy. It's not. It's not. You can't come up with an organization, White Lives Matter, because you'll look racist and you'll probably get shut down. Or you just be talked badly about like the KKK. That's it. You immediately will just be labeled a racist. Immediately. So like I said, it's accountability of police being held accountable, and the media. Now, the police need to be held accountable in general. They're getting away with a lot of shit in general. But when it happens to a black person, we just, the media blows it up and it looks like it's just us. Trust me, it isn't. It isn't at all. It isn't. That's not the case at all, man. That's not the case. You can look at so many. You didn't know how many cases I found, or I can show you anytime, about white people being killed by officers or black people or anything like that. The most fucked up stories that never go big. That never go big. I'm telling you, this is the work of the media. The problem with us as people is we see things on the media and we think that's the only thing that's going on. We don't realize there's hundreds of other opposite situations that are going on, but we just don't hear about it because it doesn't make it to the news. So we think the statistics. No, you can go look at statistics from anywhere. You'll go see one thing, that there isn't some mass genocide towards black people from police. Not at all. There isn't. If blacks commit the most violent crime per person or per capita, gun violence and stuff like that, this is pretty much a fact. Why would you be surprised that the most black people get killed by police in violent altercations? Now, I'm not saying all the situations you hear about in the news that the black person deserved it. That's not what I'm saying. Some of those situations, the police were not held accountable like they should have been. That's what I said. That's one of the problems. I'm saying that one of the problems is police accountability. They're not being held accountable. I've said this for years going on now. Every police officer should be a federal law, should have webcams on them filming at all times, period. With sound and video at all times when they're on duty, period. I've been saying this for years. It would help so fucking much. Imagine if there was a cam on a dude who killed I forgot his name, Trayvon Martin. Imagine that. He wasn't even a fucking cop though. He wasn't even a fucking cop. That dude should be in prison for a long time in my opinion. He's not even a cop. He's not even a cop. He didn't even listen to whatever. But I'm just saying, a lot of these situations, just imagine. So, or another one. There's a black dude who was choked out in New York. Imagine if that wasn't filmed. Imagine what the police officer would have said. He was punching us. He attacked us. He reached for a knife. You see? You see? They could have said anything. But because there was a camera there, they had to defend what was on video. They couldn't make shit up. Because witness accounts don't really mean shit. But that video means a lot. It means a lot. Now, it may not save you all the time, but it helps every time. The video helps every time. Every time. That situation wouldn't have been a situation if it wasn't on camera. They could have just said he kept fighting and he had a heart attack from fighting. They could have said a lot of shit and just buried it under the rug like they do with a lot of shit you don't hear about. They bury it because it's not on video. And they just said, oh, this is what happened, then you don't hear about it. And because you don't hear about it, you think it's not happening when it is happening. I'm sure there's tons of people who get killed by the police you don't hear about because it's not on camera and they just covered it up. You're not hearing about it. So a lot of you out there, you just fight what you hear about on the media. And I'm telling you, that is the wrong way to go about it. It's the wrong way. Everything he mentioned up there was something that was big time in the media. That's it. He's not talking about the hundreds of kids killed by gun violence or black on black crime or even white on black crime that you don't hear about. He's not even talking about the white on black crime you don't hear about. He's talking about the popular ones. You're letting the media run your brain. They're running your brain. The internet has a lot of these things on there. These small local stories that don't make it, you can go find them. You can go find them. They just don't make it because they're not sexy and they're not appealing to the mass of what people usually want to hear. Racism towards blacks, oh my God. But racism towards whites won't make much because like a lot of black people say, there's no such thing as racism from blacks to whites. They're in control. You know, so you got to trust me on this. The two problems are police not being held accountable for shit they do wrong and the media. That's it. There is no mass let's go out and kill black people thing. That's not it. That's not it at all. That's not it at all. Of course, some of these police officers are racist. We remember Mark Furman. We remember that motherfucker. That's not the case here with most of these cases you hear about. It's not the case. The problem is they were not held accountable. Because you know what? Whether they were racist or not, if they would have been held accountable, they would be in prison. Whether they were racist or not, it's about them being held accountable. Because if you're just focusing on the racist officers or the officers you believe are racist who get away with shit, that means officers can kill people of their race and not be held accountable. No. They all need to be held accountable. You can scream Black Lives Matter, whatever. I get it. I'm not mad at you, whatever. That's not me. My whole thing is cameras on cops or police need to be held accountable. It starts from right there, the police. Not the race, none of that. It's the police in general. We give these guys guns and bulletproof vests to protect us. And when they break that trust that we give them, they automatically deserve life in prison. Life in prison. That's how I feel. So everyone's kind of skipping the important thing here. They're kind of skipping the fact that all this is about police not being held accountable. Because if police were being held accountable, they would be much more careful with their guns. They'd be way more careful. Last officer who pulled out his gun so quickly, he got the chair. We got to be careful with our guns now. They'll think twice. They would think twice. Police need to be held accountable. You got to feel me on this. You're busy focusing on race and you're missing the point that these police need to be held accountable. There need to be cameras, federal law, cameras on all police officers at all times when they're on duty. The video doesn't save people, but it helps a lot. You know, this he said, she said shit is the worst part of all this. All the different accounts I heard about the dude who apparently, sorry for forgetting his name, but rushing the police officer apparently, that he got shot, and some people say he was walking away. It's just ridiculous. If there was a video camera filming that, that whole situation would have been different, and that motherfucker might have been in jail. But the problem is, not that we have racist officers, is that officers are not being held accountable. That's the problem. And this woman is so gorgeous. Oh my God, please tell me who this woman is. Police need to be held accountable. That is the biggest issue we're having. And I'm out, Nicholas. Later. God, Jesus.